Hello friends, welcome to this session. In this session, we will start with money and banking. Friends, in the prelims examination, you will find minimum 5 questions and maximum 7 questions in the from the chapter of money and banking. And this shows how much important this money and banking chapter is. So friends, we will discuss the money and money, the meaning of money, demand and supply of money. There are different monetary aggregates, right? After that, we will discuss the monetary policy. What are the different tools of monetary policy? Reserve Bank of India, its functions. We will discuss different terminologies like capital adequacy ratio, MCLR, base rate. We will go to the digital payment. We will discuss the money market, the money market instruments, and so on. So all these things, they come under the chapter of money and banking. So in this session, let us start with money. So in this series, we will cover barter system, the functions of money, money demand, liquidity trap, money supply, quantity theory of demand, types of money, sectorization of money, sectorization of economy, monetary aggregates, liquidity aggregates, right? So let us start with money. So what comes to your mind when you think about money? Sir, money is very important. There is no life without money. Sir, I need a lot of money. So all these conversations come to our mind. When we are discussing this term in economy, then we have to have some crisp definition. And we have to understand why we need the money. So friends, in economics, there are different economic activities. So these activities can be in the form of production, in the form of consumption, trading, distribution, and so on. All these activities, they have a lot of exchange of goods and services. So there is a lot of exchange of goods and services. This exchange of goods and services has to happen through some common standard. So there has to be some common standard or some common measure of value so that this exchange becomes smooth and this exchange becomes possible, right? This common standard is something which has been changing over a period of time. So initially, in the starting of human ages, it was commodity. Then we got metallic money, then we got paper money, then we got electronic money, credit money, etc. So this common standard has been evolving over a period of time. This common standard, this common measure of standard is nothing but the money. Right? Now let us see the definition of this term. So, anything that is generally acceptable. This is very crucial. So, this universal or general acceptability is very, very crucial. For example, I belong to Uttar Pradesh. So, if I have that money and I go to Gujarat, Maharashtra, everyone should be accepting that money. Everyone should be accepting that common standard thing. Then only I can say that it is something which is money. So, universal appeal or general appeal, general acceptability is the first important thing. Then it acts as a means of exchange. So, in the previous slide, we just discussed that there is a lot of exchange happening between production activity, consumption activity, distribution activity, and among these activities. So, this means of exchange work is performed by the money. This acts as a standard of exchange or the means of exchange. So, this general acceptability and means of exchange, these are the two crucial words. Don't forget these two crucial words. And at the same time, right, it acts as a measure. So the measurement is done, right, and a store of value. So something which can be stored, something which can be converted into wealth. So this is the definition of the money. Now, evolution of money. The word money is derived from the Latin word monet. The origin of money is lost. Hunting society, they used skin of wild animals as money, right? Then pastoral society, they used livestock as money. Then agricultural society, they used grain and foods as money. And Roman society, they used cattle and salt as money. Now let us see the evolution of money. So money has been developing according to the needs and requirements of the people. So as we saw in the previous slide, that initially it was skin of wild animals, then livestock, then grains and foods. So over a period of time, as the society evolves, as the needs and requirements change, this money is also evolving and it is developing. The main aim was to remove the shortcomings of the barter system, right? So to understand this point, we will discuss what is the meaning of barter system. What is the meaning of barter system? We will see this barter system after a couple of slides. Before that, let us see the complete circle of evolution of money, right? So in the starting, we were having exchange of commodities. So people used to exchange whatever commodities they had, right? So they will give wheat and they will get back rice. So this is how this barter system or the commodity exchange system worked. After this, the metallic money came, and this metallic money, it took two forms. One is the pure metal, another is the metal coins. So the metals was used as the means of exchange. Then paper money came, So we have currency notes. After that, this plastic money came, or this is also called as credit money. So we have debit card, we have credit card, and so on. Then electronic money came, and in the electronic money, the best example is cryptocurrency, and nowadays we have other forms of electronic money. We have Google Pay and other wallets. So this is how money evolved. If we see on the time scale, we can see in the caveman time there was barter system. Then in 1200 BC, this physical tokens started, or we can say this was the time of metal currency. Then we got paper currency in 618 AD. In 1861 AD we got electronic money, and finally 2009 onwards we got this cryptocurrency. So different stages of evolution of money. First, the commodity money, or this is also called as the barter system. Then metallic money, paper money, credit money, and electronic money. First, the commodity money, or exchange of commodities, right? This is also called as the barter system. So what is barter system? So in the barter system, if there is Mr. A and Mr. B, Mr. A is having wheat, Mr. B is having rice, and for example, Mr. B, he needs wheat, and Mr. A, he needs rice. So both of them, they will exchange so that rice will be given to Mr. A and Mr. A will give the wheat to Mr. B in exchange. So this is how this commodity money or barter system used to function. And this had a lot of problems, right? So let us see. Before money came into use, exchange took place through barter system, that is, goods were exchanged for goods without the use of money. So what is the key line? Goods were exchanged for goods. What are the disadvantages of the barter system? Why we have to abandon this barter system? First, the double coincidence of wants. So the example that we gave in the previous slide, in that example, we assumed that Mr. B, he will take wheat, and Mr. A, he will take rice. But in practical life, it is not always possible that both the people are having the same commodities which is demanded by the another person. So this is a pure coincidence that Mr. A is having the wheat which is required by Mr. B, and Mr. B is having the rice which is required by Mr. A. So this coincidence is very rare. So this double coincidence of wants is very rare, and this problem actually restricted the growth of exchange, and this restricted the growth of economic activities. This is the first problem. Then absence of common measure of value. So how do we measure that how much kg of wheat is equal to how much kg of rice? If we have money, we know that approximately 20 rupees per kilogram is the price of wheat, and rupees 50 per kilogram is the price of rice, right? So this measurement is possible when we have some common measure, that is money. But in case of commodity, there is no common measure. For everything we have to find some measure. There is no common measure. How do we measure the value of any particular commodity? That becomes a problem. So this absence of common measure of value is the big problem. Then lack of divisibility. Lack of divisibility. So for example, we take another example. Mr. X, he has cow, and Mr. Y, he has suppose a goat. Now the value of this cow is very high, definitely. It is for example, one cow is equal to 5 goats. Now Mr. Y, he has only one goat and he want to give this goat to Mr. X. The problem is that Mr. X cannot cut cow into pieces and give 1/5 cow to Mr. Y. So this problem is the problem of lack of divisibility. So the point is that not every item is divisible, right? So that becomes another problem. Then problem of storing wealth. What is this? So friends, problem of storing wealth, as I just say that Mr. X has cow. Now suppose he is a very wealthy person, so he has a lot of commodities. He has huge quantity. The problem is where to keep it. Mr. X, he needs huge amount of land or godowns, buildings to keep the wealth. He cannot keep it in the bank. He cannot keep it in the treasury, because the commodity, the commodity can be anything. It can be cow, it can be a goat, it can be any grain, it can be vegetable, anything and everything can be commodity. Anything and everything can be an equivalent of money. So this problem of storing creates a big problem. Then the difficulty of deferred payments. This is another problem, because there is no common measure. If I get some commodities from someone, then after 1 year, should I return the same commodity or should I return some extra commodity? Or is there any system of installment possible? There is no system of installment possible. This system of installment on which our current economy runs, this is impossible in the barter system. So the concept of borrowing, lending, credit, interest, all these concepts become irrelevant. So there is no financial transactions happening in the society. Then problem of transportation. Again, this is because of the huge quantity and the weight of the commodities. So everything has to be transported, and that incurs extra cost, and not only cost but also the inconvenience. So because of this, the barter system was abundant and the metallic money came. This metallic money, this came in the form of precious metals like gold, silver, copper, and they were used as a mode of payment. This metallic money, it can be the full-bodied money or it can be the token money. Full-bodied, it means whose face value is equal to the value of metal. So suppose this is the gold metal coin. Now we take this gold metal coin to any jeweler, and jeweler gives 10,000 rupees in return of this gold coin, right? And the government also says that this is a 10,000 rupees coin. So when we sell this coin just as a metal in the market, then also it is having 10,000 rupees value, and the government is also saying that yes, this currency, this coin is worth 10,000 rupees. So the face value, the value which has been assigned by the government, and the value of the metal, the value which is promised by the jeweler, both are equal. So this is called full bodied money. So anyone having this money is secure. The person is very clear that person is fully insured. Whether the government gives guarantee or not does not matter, because even if the government don't buy back, still the person can go to the jeweler and get the money back. Then we have token money. It's when the face value is higher than the intrinsic value. So in this example, if the face value would have been 20,000, but the intrinsic value or the value of the metal, both are same, right? So if the intrinsic value would have been rupees 10,000, but the government would have been saying that this is a 20,000 rupees coin, in this case this will be called as the token money, right? So face value is more than the intrinsic value. After this, the paper money comes. Paper money, it has again three different types. One is representative paper currency. So representative paper currency, it is that money which is fully backed by equivalent metallic reserves. That means the central bank who issues these representative paper money keeps 100 crore rupees gold in the vault and then issues rupees 100 crore paper notes. So each note is guaranteed by the government. If the person goes to the government will give the metal in return of that paper note, right? So this is called representative paper money. Then second is convertible paper money. This convertible paper money, that means which can be converted into the coins on demand. So the government is ready to convert into the coins of full value, right? And third is the fiat paper money. This fiat paper money, it is not redeemable or convertible into gold or silver on demand, and it is accepted because it is declared legal tender by the issuing authority and has general acceptance as a medium of exchange, right? So the paper currency that we carry nowadays, for example 500 rupees note, 2000 rupees note, that is nothing but the fake paper currency, because the government don't promise to convert or redeem it into the gold. We cannot go to the government and say that please give us gold in back, because the government does not keep any metallic or gold reserve in the central bank when it is issuing the paper note, right? So it is not convertible. At the same time, it is acceptable. It is acceptable because the authority or the government has given the guarantee that we will ensure that this is accepted by everyone as the money. It will have the value. There is sovereign guarantee behind it, right? So it is accepted because it is the legal tender. Legal tender means as per the law, every person has to accept it. Nobody can refuse to accept it. Nobody can refuse to accept it. The intrinsic value of fiat money is nil. So for example, you have 500 rupees note in your pocket. Do you think if it is not guaranteed by the government, this paper has any value? No, absolutely no. The best example is rupees 1000 note, which was demonetized in November 2016. So if you have rupees 1000 note, which is no longer a legal tender, then do you really think that that particular paper of 1000 has some intrinsic value? No, it does not have any intrinsic value. Next is credit money. So the credit money, it includes the bank money, and bank uses different instruments, for example checks, drafts, pay orders. So all that becomes part of the credit money. What is the benefit? The benefit is that it is convenient, safe and easily convertible into cash, right? It is like near money. Then we have electronic money. Electronic money, or we also call it e-money, electronic cash, electronic currency, digital money, digital cash, digital currency. So nowadays we have a lot of wallets: PhonePe, Google Pay, Paytm, RuPay, so UPI. All these these technologies have made it possible that this electronic money is booming like anything, right? So it refers to the money or scrip which is exchanged only electronically. What is the key point? The key point that you have to keep in mind is that it is exchanged only electronically. This is very, very crucial. It is exchanged only electronically, right? Typically, this involves use of computer networks, the internet and digital stored value systems. And in the recent times, this cryptocurrency is very is becoming very famous. So can we see the important characteristics of money? First, general acceptability or universal acceptability. Second, stable of value. So the value of money is quite stable. Transportability, storability and divisibility. So all these are the characteristics of money which were absent during the barter system. Functions of money we have already covered. In this session we will cover the concept of money demand, money supply, quantity theory of demand, sectorization of economy, monetary aggregates, liquidity aggregates, and we will also discuss the UPSC previous year questions. Along with these concepts, there are a couple of concepts which we will discuss. The concept of liquidity, time versus demand deposits, etc. So small concept we will keep discussing in between. Continuing with the last session, we will discuss the previous year question which pertains to the previous class, right? So this question appeared in 2018. The question is, which one of the following statements correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money? So this question is about the legal tender money. Option A, the money which is tendered in court of law to defray the fees of legal cases. I think this is not the answer. The money which a creditor is under compulsion to accept in settlement of his claims. Right? This is the correct answer. We have already seen that legal tender money means that money which is under compulsion by the receiver to accept, and it can be of two types. It can be limited legal tender. For example, in India, the coins are the limited legal tender, and it can be for unlimited legal tender. For example, the currency notes in India are the unlimited legal tender. Option 3, the bank money in the form of checks, drafts, bills of exchange. No, that is, what is the meaning of that? That is the credit money, not the legal tender money. The metallic money in circulation in the country. No, that is also wrong. So answer is option B, very simple answer. And why this question appeared in the examination? Because in November 2016, in India, we had demonetization. So because of this demonetization, this concept of legal tender money was asked. So what happened during the demonetization? During the demonetization, rupees 500 and rupees 2000 currency paper notes, they were declared as no longer being the legal tender money in India, right? So this question was asked because of that event. Now we will discuss some of the concepts regarding the money demand. So friends, why we need the money, right? In what form we need the money? Why we need the money? So I need the money to do my expenses. I need the money to save in bank account so that in my old age I can take care of myself. I can take care of my social obligations. I need money because I want to earn some profit by investing somewhere. So there are different ways and different purposes for which I need the money. And in what form I need the money? So everyone wants the money in the cash form. Is it right or wrong? Do you agree or not? Whether you agree or not, it is true that everyone wants money in the cash form, right? But why in cash form? Why in cash form? Cash, because this is the most liquid form, and we can pay cash, we can buy anything, right? This is most liquid. When I say most liquid, what is the meaning of liquidity? So here I start the concept of liquidity. What is the concept of liquidity, right? So concept of liquidity is very simple. The easiness with which we can convert anything into cash decides its liquidity. So you talk about land. Can we convert the land into cash immediately? No. That will take some time. We will have to find the buyer. Buyer needs to agree. Then transaction of money will happen. So it can take a few days. It can take a couple of months and even years. So land is not a liquid asset. Now, if I talk about saving account, yes, it is comparatively more liquid compared to land. If I talk about demand deposit, now you will be asking, sir, what is demand deposit? What is? So all these things I am going to discuss just after this session, just after this slide basically. So you have to understand one very simple thing, that liquidity has to do with the easiness with which anything can be converted into cash, right? So that is the meaning of liquidity, right? So liquidity refers to how easily assets can be converted into cash. So from this point of view, cash is the most liquid asset. That is why everyone wants to have the money in the form of cash. And the assets like stocks and bonds, the government bonds, government securities. Stock means the stock market securities are very liquid. Yes, they are very liquid because they can be converted into cash within maybe couple of days. I can sell my shares, my government securities today, and I can convert it into cash, but it is slightly less liquid than the cash. If I talk about land, property, plant, equipment, they are not easily convertible into cash. It may take some time, so they are less liquid asset. I hope the concept of liquidity is clear. Now I am coming to one more aspect, the demand and time deposits, right? So which deposits I am talking about? I am talking about those deposits which the public makes into the commercial banks. So public deposits its cash into the commercial banks. In this transaction what happens? This commercial bank gets deposit, right? And this deposit, it is the asset of commercial bank, or is it the liability of commercial bank? So this asset is basically the liability of the commercial bank. This is basically nothing but the liability of the commercial bank. That means the commercial bank is under an obligation to return this money back to the customer in future. So this liability means obligation to return. Now this deposit, they can be primarily of two categories. One is the demand deposit, another is the time deposit. Demand deposit means they have to be returned back as and when demanded. So you go to the bank, you present the check, and bank is liable to pay. For example, the money which is lying in your saving account. That is the perfect example of demand deposit, right? Then time deposit, the money which can be returned after certain time period. So the bank accepts the deposits and says that I will return this money after 1 year. Don't come to me before 1 year, right? So this kind of deposit is called time deposit. Can you give the example? So the most popular example is fixed deposit, or we call it FD. So all of us in our family, we will have the FD. Our parents, they have the FD in the bank for our future, right? So this FD is there with the bank for 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. So there is some fixed period. It can be from 1 year till any number of years, right? So this money will be returned not immediately, not on demand, but after a certain period, right? So these are the two categories of the deposits. So let us see. Demand deposits consist of all the liabilities, right? So I already told liability. What is liability? It means the amount which is to be returned. It is an obligation on the side of bank, which the bank needs to pay on demand. They include, so what type of deposits these are? Current deposits, demand drafts, balances in overdue, fixed deposits. So after the fixed deposits maturity period is over, then it is part of the demand deposit. So if suppose fixed deposit was supposed to be there for 1 year, so now the 1 year is over. So after the maturity of the fixed deposit, this will be part of the demand deposit. And demand liabilities portion of the savings bank account, right? Then what is time deposits? So time deposits consists of deposits that need to be repaid on maturity, right? So these cannot be withdrawn by the customer immediately. So what are the examples? Examples include fixed deposits, the time liabilities portion of savings bank deposits, staff security deposits. So the main thing is that they have to be returned back only after their fixed time or the maturity time is expired. Then there are other liabilities of the bank, which include call money, market borrowings, certificate of deposits, investment deposits. So about these instruments we will discuss in the money market. So when we discuss the chapter of money market, we will discuss about these things, what is certificate of deposit, what is call money, everything, right? So these things I am not discussing right now. Right now you should understand the difference between the demand deposit and the time deposit. Now based upon this, here is a question. Consider the following liquid assets. This question came in 2013. Statement 1, demand deposits with the banks. Statement 2, time deposits with the bank. Statement 3, savings deposits with the banks. Statement 4, currency, or we can also call it cash. The current sequence of the assets in the decreasing order. Please be careful. The question is asking about the decreasing order of liquidity is. So what is the correct sequence? Take 30 seconds and then decide, and then we will discuss. Okay, so the question is asking correct sequence of these assets in the decreasing order of liquidity. That means first we have to identify highest liquid asset. So which is the highest liquid asset? This 4, right? So if 4 is the highest liquid asset, that means either answer will be B or it will be D. So option A is eliminated and option C is eliminated. Right? So this is how we solve the questions in the examination hall. If we are sure one particular statement is correct, we can eliminate other wrong options clearly. There is no doubt. So option B and option D. Option B and option D, right? So highest liquidity is with the currency. Then if we see, second highest liquidity is with the demand deposits. So this is the second highest. So after 4, 1, right? And then 3, that is the saving deposits. Saving deposits, it can be having two parts again, the time liability and the demand liability, right? So saving deposit, it can have two components. That is why we are not bringing it just after the cash, right? So then we have this saving deposit, and in the last, the least liquid is the time deposits, right? So time deposits are the least liquid. So answer is option D. Option D is the answer. I hope this concept is very clear to you. Now, the concept of money demand. So I started this session by asking you why you need the money. So if you ask me why I need the money because I have to do some daily transactions, right? I have to buy the grocery, I have to pay my mobile bill, and so on, right? And these daily transactions which I am supposed to do, they start from the date 1 and goes till month end, right? However, my income is not coming daily. It comes in the starting of the month. My receipts, so payment I have to do from first to end, but my receipts, these receipts have to come only in starting 1 to 3 days when I launch my courses, right? And you take example of some other person, they receive their salary in the first week of the month. So they receive the salary and they have to expend this till the end of the month, right? So for these expenses, they have to keep some of this money with them as cash, right? So some of the money they have to always keep in their pocket so that they can perform their daily transactions, right? Second requirement will be my future needs. So in my future, I may incur some unforeseen obligation. Maybe I have some medical emergency, there is emergency in my family, there is some disaster which I am not expecting. So any of the future needs can be there. So I am keeping this money with myself for some precaution, right? And whatever money is left, I keep that money for earning further income, right? Or earning further profit through speculation. What is speculation? So speculation in this context means that we are investing extra money at some place, for example in the stock market, the government bonds, with the purpose of earning the income on that money. So this is the speculative purpose. So can you see that there are three possible reasons why any person can need the money? One is for transactions, second is for precaution, and third is for speculation, right? And these are the three motives of the money demand. So money demand, the desire for liquidity, right? Liquidity means cash, right? The desire for liquidity arises because of the three motives. What are these three motives? Transaction motive, the first one that I told you, precautionary motive, the second one for my future needs, and speculative motive, that is for earning the profits. Three motives. The first motive is transaction motive. So demand for money for the current transactions of individuals and business firms. So this is for the current transactions. Individuals hold cash in order to bridge the interval between the receipts of income and its expenditure. So as I told in my example that I receive the income in the first week of the month, but my expenditure is during entire month. So to match this gap, I have to have some cash in my hand. So the money which I receive in the first week of the month, I take out certain cash from there, keep it with myself so that I can pay for my expenses throughout the month. So this is the transaction motive. Precautionary motive, desire for people to hold cash balances for unforeseen contingencies. For example, nowadays we can see lot of people are being unemployed. So unemployment can be there, sickness can be there, accident can be there. It depends upon the psychology of the individual and the conditions in which he lives. So some people prefer to have more money as the precautionary money. Other people, they prefer to have less money as the precautionary money. So it depends from person to person. Third one is the speculative demand of money. The desire to hold one's resources in liquid form in order to take advantage of market movement, right? Regarding the future changes in the rate of interest. So the purpose is basically making the speculative gains by dealing in bonds whose price fluctuates. So what happens? I have 10,000 rupees extra. From these 10,000 rupees, for example, I go to the market and I buy bonds of rupees 10 each. So how much bonds I will be getting? I will be getting 1000 quantity or 1000 units of bonds. Now after 2 months, the price of this bond increases from rupees 10 to rupees 12. So now how much will I be getting? 12 into if I sell these bonds, how much I will be getting? I will be getting 12,000 rupees. So I purchased in 10,000 rupees and now I am getting 12,000 rupees. So how much is the profit or gain that I am making? I am making the gain of 12,000 minus 10,000 equal to 2,000 rupees. So this kind of gain is made, and this transaction of buying the bond when the price is low and selling the bond when the price is high, this transaction is called speculation. And why this rate is this price of bond is increasing from rupees 10 to 12? So this happens because of change in the rate of interest. When the rate of interest is decreasing, then the price of bond increases, and vice versa. Right? So this relationship between the bond price and the interest rate, I will discuss in a separate session when I discuss the concept of money market. As of now, you have to understand only one thing, that the bond price and the rate of interest are having the inverse relationship. I am repeating, the bond price and the rate of interest are having the inverse relationship. That means if the rate of interest is increasing, the bond price comes down. If the rate of interest is decreasing, the bond price goes up. So relationship is inverse. Because of this inverse relationship, the people are able to speculate. So when they are expecting the interest rate to go down, that means the bond price will increase in the future. Their expectation is that the bond price will increase. So they buy in the present time because they are expecting that in the future the bond price is going to increase. Right? And when they expect that in the future the interest rate is going to increase, that means the bond price is going to fall. At that time they sell and gain the profit. So this is how this speculation works. Now, before moving ahead, I want to discuss the role of Reserve Bank of India as a currency authority. So this chapter of Reserve Bank of India we will be having separately. As of now, I am just giving you one relevant function of the Reserve Bank of India so that we can discuss this money chapter in much more clarity, right? So all of us know that in India, the currency is issued by the Reserve Bank of India. So Reserve Bank of India is the authority who issues the currency in India, right? Now, in the previous session, when we discussed the evolution of money, we discussed the concept of full-bodied money and the token money, right? We discussed the concept of representative money, convertible money, and fiat money. I hope you remember, right? So at present, we have the paper currency. So primarily in India, we have the paper currency. That paper currency, is that paper currency a representative paper currency, or is that the convertible paper currency, or is that the fiat paper currency? Which one is this? The answer is, this is the fiat public currency, fiat paper currency, right? I told in the previous session also. Fiat means the government has given the guarantee. Government has given the guarantee that this is legally valid and everyone is under a compulsion to accept this money. So this is a legal tender also. Now, on what basis the Reserve Bank of India gives the guarantee to the people? So when the Reserve Bank of India, the government is giving the guarantee that this is the legal tender, does this mean that when the cash will be, this currency paper is being given to the RBI will give gold in the bank in the return? No. So because this is not the representative paper currency, this is not the convertible paper currency, that is why there will be no guarantee of returning back the gold, right? So this is very clear. That is why we call it the fiat currency, fiat paper currency. Now, on what basis the Reserve Bank of India issues the currency? So is it that the RBI has to keep 100% gold in the back and then it has to issue the currency? Suppose the Reserve Bank of India wants to issue 1000 rupees currency. So will it have to buy 1000 rupees worth of gold and keep in the vault and then issue the currency or not? No. The answer is no, because again the currency is not representative foreign currency, representative paper currency, right? Basically what RBI does, RBI maintains some minimum reserve of gold, that is rupees 115 crore of worth of gold. So this 115 crore worth of gold is required to be maintained by the Reserve Bank of India at all the times, and by maintaining this minimum reserve of gold, it can issue unlimited currency. It can issue unlimited currency. So this is very important point that you have to know. This is called the minimum reserve system. So under this system, the Reserve Bank of India or the central bank has to keep just gold to the extent of rupees 115 crore, and it can issue unlimited amount of currency. And certainly there are some checks and balances. It is not that it will keep printing the money when there is a shortage of money. There are some checks and balances. It always keeps in mind the money supply, everything, right? But this fact indicates that the value of the currency, the unlimited currency that we have, if we go to the government will not be able to pay back the gold in return of that. There is no gold lying in correspondence to the paper currency that you and me are having in our pocket. You have to keep that in mind. You have to keep that in mind. However, for every currency that this central bank issues, it has to have some government security in its vault, right? So there are basically set of assets. One is this gold, another is this government security. Then it has to have some foreign currency assets. So like that, there are some items which the Reserve Bank of India has to have with itself, equivalent to the value of all these things will have to be equivalent to the currency issued, right? So even this unlimited currency has to be supported by a combination of the minimum reserve of gold, which is to be 115 crore minimum, government security, foreign currency, and a couple of more assets. So these are the assets and this is the liability. Why this is the liability? This issued currency is the liability because the RBI is under an obligation to return this, to get this return back and give the guarantee, right? So the RBI has to keep some assets. So these are the assets and these are the liabilities. So RBI has to keep with itself rupee coins. So RBI basically this, if I talk about rupee, the rupee coins and the rupee notes, 1 rupee note and the 1 rupee and the rupee coins, they are issued by the government. They are not issued by the RBI. Please keep in mind. I'm again emphasizing. So there are certain points which are not directly important in the UPSC, but you need to know. So these are the small points which may be relevant for the banking examination, SSC, but not for the UPSC. But still you should know that this rupee 1 note and the coins, these are issued by the Government of India. These are not issued by the Reserve Bank of India, right? But these have to be capped with the RBI, right? So RBI will buy from the government and will circulate. Second is gold coins, minimum 200 crore, gold bullion, minimum 115 crore, foreign securities including the securities of the IMF, and the government securities, right? So government securities means the securities of the central government. So we will discuss the meaning of government security, what does this mean, what are the features, everything in the chapter of money market. As of now, just understand that there is something called government security. On the liability side, the total currency notes, including the coins and rupee were note in circulation, which consist of, number one, the currency note held by the public, the people like you and me. The currency note held by other banks in vault cash, that is by the bank other than the Reserve Bank of India, right? So the amount that they need for their day-to-day operations. Third is other deposits in the RBI. So this portion is also called as the high powered money or reserve money or base money, right? So we call it base money, reserve money, high powered money, and the symbols which are used is M0 and MB. MB means monetary base, right? So this is also called as the monetary base. So these are the different nomenclature given to this portion, that is the total currency assets, total currency notes and coins in circulation. These are the different names given to this portion: the monetary base, base money, reserve money, or high powered money. So the entire base of money supply in the market, entire base of the money supply is dependent upon this monetary base, this money in circulation, right? So this is the high powered money